Hey there, aficionados. Kevin here from N.O.A.H, Northern Ontario Aquarium Hobby. Really excited about today's video. So excited I've got visible wood. Want to see? Bam! Alright, so obviously we're going to be talking about aquarium woods today. Probably the 5 most common aquarium woods used for the planted tank. There's obviously very, very many options, but these are the ones that you're going to commonly see used in people's tanks or commonly run across at your local pet store. Now the reason that I decided to go ahead and do this aquarium wood or driftwood video today was because I just received a shipment of beautiful Manzanita wood from Houston Manzanita. Adam, go check him out. He's got fantastic pieces. Amazing service, absolutely amazing. He shipped it to me right in the middle of the Christmas rush, and I've never had an international shipping arrive so fast before. Just brilliant company to deal with. So do check them out. There's going to be a link below, and there's going to be a little a sort of glamour shot of some of the Manzanita wood that he sent me. I was going to do a whole unboxing video, but I got too excited, of course, being Christmas and just waiting for this wood to show up. But so do check out Houston Manzanita. Again, the link is going to be below. Just superb product and fantastic customer service. So a little bit first about aquarium wood for those of you who may not have ever used it before. Reasons for putting it in your tank. I mean, obviously there's aesthetics. Driftwood looks absolutely amazing, gives your tank a much more natural look. Takashi Amano, the grand master of the planted tank, he liked using driftwood sort of as the framework, as the skeleton of a layout. And I mean, that's when you read some of his stuff, that comes off as really important, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's sometimes you want to highlight the wood because it's beautiful wood, but just allowing it to help shape your aquascape and your design, and allowing that wood to be not necessarily a focal point at all times, but just a foundation to build your designs around, along with your hardscape, makes a lot of sense when you look at it that way. But using it as that framework sort of makes a lot of sense, aside from highlighting the wood directly, because we use driftwood really to attach different mosses to, or rhizome-based plants like bulbitis or java fern, etc. So it really works as a good sort of foundation or framing point for those aquatic plants to focus on. Behind me here in this tank, I've got 3 actually of the 5 that I'm going to cover today. Another of the big benefits to using aquarium wood or driftwood in your tank is that it affects your water chemistry. In most cases, it's going to lower your pH. Not significant amounts, but I mean, you will typically drop you down into, let's say, around the 6.5. I know that's varies a lot depending on what your starting base is, but if you've got at least, say, a pH neutral 7.0 thereabouts, it can drop you down to around 6.4, 6.5, sometimes 6.2. And that ability to lower the pH, a lot of your aquatic plants prefer being in that softer water, as well as a lot of the fish that we keep are used to some of those softer water conditions. Now, a lot of the fish and a lot of the plants that we use in the hobby today have sort of been varied in the hobby and in their growing conditions so that they can tolerate a much wider range, but that's at least coming a little bit closer to their natural habitat. Now, one of the other common things with aquarium wood is that it leaches tannins, so it colors your water. Different woods will leach different amounts of tannins. Now, that coloring of the water, some people don't like it at all and prefer, the sort of that crystal clear look. Other people do it on purpose to achieve a black water look, because different species of fish especially sometimes come from what's called a black water region. Some of your angels, some of your neons, and those that sort of tea-tinted water, the tannin-tinted water, can really make those fish pop. And the tannins are actually beneficial for most of your fish. It's not bad for them at all. They actually appreciate it, and it does make them healthy, but some people just don't prefer the look, you know, and so through water changes or preparing your driftwood, as I'll talk about a little bit later on, you can take care of those tannins and that tea-stained look. Now, as I said, different woods release different amounts of tannins, and kind of need to be treated a little bit differently when you're putting them into your tank. So the first piece of wood that I decided to focus on, again in my 5 common aquarium woods, is Malaysian driftwood. Now this is just a small piece. They come in varying sizes. I just happened to grab some of these recently because I was looking for some pieces that did have sort of a stump look about them. Now Malaysian driftwood is I mean, it is a hard wood, but it's still fairly soft, and you can see it's got a lot of deep graining through it. Now that looks beautiful in a tank, and this is wonderful for stuffing sort of rhizome plants in, or like something like a nubius or java fern, so you don't necessarily have to tie it down. Now you can see by the coloration, it is a fairly brown orange. This will release a ton of tannins into your tank. So preparing this wood, boiling this repeatedly, and sometimes even just soaking and bogging it for weeks or months if you want to clear those tannins out first. Again, comes down to a personal choice. Nothing wrong with tannins, but if you don't want to have that look, definitely going to need to prepare this. It does tend to sink fairly readily because it is fairly heavy wood, so you don't really have to, depending on the size, but you don't really have to tie this down or weight this down in any sort of way. It will sink fairly readily. But again, ton of tannins. This is going to soften your water very well. I think in my experience anyways, Malaysian driftwood really tends to soften the water more than any other driftwood I've dealt with. At any rate. Another nice benefit to Malaysian driftwood is plecos love this stuff. If you can find a way to set it up so that there's a little cave spot or something underneath that they can dig under, they love chewing on this and feeding off the bark. Not the bark, sorry, but the grains, like the pieces. And so if you're running into problems where you're seeing the plecos are eating your plants, drop some Malaysian driftwood into your tank, and they'll focus on chewing on this rather than on your plants. Now, the next piece of wood that I was going to focus on is Mopani. Again, this is a fairly small piece. You can get much larger pieces of them, but again, I was looking for something that had a nice sort of broken stump sort of look about it. Again, Mopani is very hard. Now, this will lower your pH, and this will definitely leach tannins as well. Not quite as much in either case as Malaysian driftwood in my experience anyways, but it definitely will. So again, if you want to get rid of those tannins, then do definitely bog this in a bucket for sometimes weeks or months, or boil it to leach as many of those tannins out as you can. The thing that I like again about Mopani is again quite heavy, sinks very readily. You rarely have to tie this down or weight this down, but it's got a really nice sort of multicolored look about it. Usually the bottom, or what I usually consider the bottom anyways, is a dark, much more gnarled and burled sort of look about it, where the other side is a lot, usually a little bit more sort of smooth and rounded. I find myself with Mopani, because the way it looks, I like to leave it fairly bare myself, just because it's a really nice looking wood, and use it more as an accent piece rather than a foundational piece. But again, that's just my own personal design choices. Now, another very common one in the aquascaping hobby is Spiderwood. Spiderwood comes in tons of different shapes. Obviously, it's got a lot of these usually beautiful running little roots looks about them. Now, this does lower your pH, not as much as the other woods, This can leach tannins as well. Again, not as much as the previous two woods. But again, so if you'd like to treat it beforehand through your boiling, go ahead. Now this stuff floats like mad. It takes quite a while to bog, usually. So a lot of times you will see it sold on a piece of slate. That allows you to weight it down. Now, I don't typically like keeping it on this slate because then it limits, how it's going to be presented in your tank, and so it really, you might not want it to be the way that someone else has bolted it on. So you can weight this down with other rocks on top of it as part of your scape, or just twist it in there, or once you find sort of the orientation that you want it to be in your tank, you can then attach it to a piece of slate, either with a stainless steel screw bolted through the bottom into the wood, or with a simple zip tie. Obviously, because it was the Manzanita shipment that inspired me to do this video, I'm going to save that for last. So number 4 in the common aquarium woods. This might not be as common as some, but for a lot of aquascapers it is found driftwood, found wood. Now this happens to be box elder wood, a type of maple, blood maple. That fell with a tree. It came down in my backyard about 2 years ago, and so I've got a huge pile of this. I've got another video coming up about how to source found driftwood in the wild, and the ways to treat it and everything. But again, looking around along your beach fronts, in the bush area and everything like that, you are going to find felled wood, sort of wind-fallen wood. You do want to, very quickly, just to cover this now, you do want to make sure that it's well aged and well matured, so you're not introducing any toxins into your tank. Stripping the bark is definitely going to be a major step in that. But again, you can find some really interesting pieces. I like this. This is a really nice long piece. These typically don't tend to leach as much tannins, but again, boil it out, if nothing else, to try and kill off any potential toxins or bacteria that could be in this wood if it's found. If the piece is too big to fit into a pot, throw it in the bathtub, especially with some Epsom salts, which will help draw some of those toxins away if you don't have a larger tub. I find that Rubbermaid totes, the larger ones, are good at bogging found driftwood, or actually any of the wood from the local fish store. And now the wood that inspired me to do this video, Manzanita. Manzanita is a beautiful wood, in my opinion, to use. There's so many variations of it. It's sort of hard to see, but some of the larger pieces, including some of the burls, you can get some really nice curves, and there's a lot of nice color variations and grain variations. It also tends to be rather stemmy, I guess you can say. There's a lot of node separation, a lot of branching coming on, and so it allows you to create a lot more things than some of the other woods with, I'd say, a lot less effort, because, taking a simple little place like that, attaching some moss or something, and you can create a tree. Larger pieces like this, thrown into a larger tank, can create a full forest look, or can create, a river driftwood appearance. There's just so much that you can do with this. Again, this is very hard. This is a little bit more, I don't know if pH neutral is probably not the right way to say it. This tends not to affect your pH quite as much as some of the other woods, which is a plus. It also sinks quite readily, not right away. It takes maybe a day or two, a little bit more for it to sink, but it does bog fairly quickly, so you usually don't have to bind this down the way that you would spiderwood. It tends not to leach quite as much tannins either. Again, treat it, boil it if you wish, or do water changes to get rid of it. But typically, I find that Manzanita in most cases, sorry, it's right in front of my face. Typically, I find that Manzanita in most cases is almost a ready-to-use wood. You know, it's been sandblasted and it's been treated, and you can, in a lot of cases, plunk it right into your tank and get scaping right away, which is a plus for those of us, you know, who are anxious all the time. Again, because of all of the different branching and everything like that, this looks beautiful covered in moss. Takes rhizome plants beautifully. This works as a great foundation piece for your aquascapes, or as a focal point themselves, because it's just such a nice looking wood. And again, I got this and more pieces that I'm going to show you at the end of this video from Houston Manzanita, and it's I love this wood. This is definitely my wood of choice when it comes to aquascaping. It can be difficult to find, but again, there's great online sources. Go check out Adam at Houston Manzanita. He can ship it to you. Like I said, close to the beginning of the video, I got a whole box of it shipped to me over the Christmas mail rush from Texas up to here in Canada where I am, and it only took I think 6 days international shipping, which is ridiculously fast, especially considering the time of year that it came and the size of the shipment. So again, this was just a quick primer on some of the most common aquarium woods, aquascaping woods for your planted tank, or even for your non-planted tank. But you'll notice they all have similar properties. You know, they all will leach tannins. Typically, they all will lower your pH to some degree, some more than others, and again, some will leach more tannins than others. Just be aware when you're using the woods, what your parameters are, and keep a watch to see, like, is this, if you're keeping a certain type of livestock that isn't going to do well in that lower pH situation, just do your research before you plunk a piece of wood in, make sure. And again, if you're finding wood out there in the bush or along the beach, do your research. And again, coming up fairly soon, there'll be a video about finding driftwood and found wood and how to properly prepare it and to protect yourself before putting it in a tank. But those are the sort of the basics. So again, please do hit subscribe down there at the bottom. We got a lot of amazing stuff coming up in this new year. I don't want to give anything away, but there's some really great product reviews coming up. There's some wonderful builds coming up, some collaboration builds with some other people. There's just, I'm really excited for what's coming up this new year. So please do hit subscribe, click like, share this all around, get as many people in there, because the more people I have, the sooner I can start doing some giveaways. And yeah, so following this, we're going to have a nice glamour shot of all this beautiful Manzanita wood that I received from Adam at Houston Manzanita. Again, check out that link below, and definitely go and check out his product if you want some just beautiful Manzanita. I can't say this enough. I mean, I will stress, I bought this wood. He's not paying me to say this in any sort of way. I just had a fantastic experience dealing with him, and it is just amazing wood. Go and check him out and enjoy some shots of some sexy looking wood.